hand. Ghostly haunting since time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creepy floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. Orbs rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hey, everybody. It seems like it's been forever since I've been here. How is everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. I hope you are just as excited as I am to welcome Joan here. But first, I want to say my hellos to everybody. Quick, let me pop this up on the screen. There we go, so everybody can see. Hello, my sugar daddy, Mr. Wayne. How are you? And Janice has joined us, and Pomp. How's it going, guys? Sage Rat, honey, you got to check out. I didn't get to send you a message. Pinky is queen. I'm telling you, she got the design together. I got the merch set up for the coffee crawl t-shirt and stuff. So you got to go check it out in the merch shop. Oh, it's so cool. Brewster the Rooster doing the coffee crawl. And it's thanks to Pinky and Sage. You guys are the best. Mr. Prism, welcome. Hello, Dave. How's it going? And let's see who I'm missing. I got Chris, Fear That Living Podcast. How's it going? Good to see you, sir. Caroline, hello, darling. How are you? So glad to have you guys. Miss Sherry, how you feeling today? I hope you're feeling good. And let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. And Petals, hello, welcome, welcome. And I'm going to run through. Rob is in the house as well. Miss Susan, there's my girl, Susan. How are you doing? Cree, hello, hello. And I think I said hello to Mr. Prism, but we'll say it again. Why not, right? Oh, God, I hope you guys are all doing it. If I forgot anybody, Janice, hello, Janice. Just, throw me a thing. Hey, Laura, I'm here. I'm here too. I try not to forget anybody. James is with us as well. I think I caught all of you. If not, again, just give me a shout out, guys. Miss Betty's here. Hello, Miss Betty, sweetie. How are you doing? She says, I got my mail, but they sent packages saying not. Oh, no. I hate it when you don't get packages. Oh, Jesus. Post office sucks. This is the bottom line. Oh, my God. So hopefully we can bring a little sunshine into your life this evening. And let's scroll it all the way back down. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am to welcome Joan. She is fantastic. So please remember to, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to her channel. Check her out. She knows her business. She's doing a great job. And let's get those subs up for her. Go subscribe. Let's support the smaller channels. Let's get her up to some good numbers. Let's see who else. Everybody's just popping in, and it is wonderful. Thanks, Pinky, for posting all of the links. And just remember, guys, everybody, just a heads up. Please behave yourselves. We don't want to have to put anybody in the corner. Bottom line. Okay, guys, help me welcoming Ms. Joan from Ladies Fright. Please put your hands together to welcome Joan to the stage. There she is.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Love
you are
being here.
very welcome.
Thank you.
Wayne said he's already subbed. Let her get some more stuff. Yeah, that's right. Let's get her some more
Thank
subs.
Wayne. Yeah.
Sugar Daddy Wayne. I just pronounced Wayne my sugar daddy the other day. So
Funny enough, we were talking about having sugar daddies in my last live stream, and I think Wayne was there. So maybe he took notes.
Everybody can use a sugar daddy. I mean, what the hell, right?
That was the sentiment we all landed on, actually, was we all could use a sugar daddy.
That was funny. I actually did watch that, so that was
Oh,
funny.
I'm glad. I just thought the sentiment was spreading everywhere. So.
Right. Chris says, "Oh wait, this Joan. Never mind. Oh, what Joan were you expecting, Chris?"
Of the arc type.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No. Chris and I have been chatting. We're friendly. So we're good with the hee-hees, ha-has.
Yeah. Maybe are you signing up to be sugar daddy, Chris? Is that what's going on? He was he was interviewing.
Yeah.
So. Tell him you got to fill out the form and then you just, file it with the rest.
Mm-hmm. File it with the IRS.
Yeah.
I need to see what your tax returns are before you're my sugar daddy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Let's see. Haha, Joan, I'm sure I can be your sugar daddy also. See, Wayne is just spreading the love.
Wayne, file with IRS.
Oh, jeez. That is all. Yeah, Chris is just kidding. I love Joan. Good. That's great. So, and everybody's saying that they're subbed. So let's just get the word out. Spread it out, guys.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. If you all could come over and watch sometime, just a
hang
little
out.
hangout. Yeah, just a little hangout.
Pay no attention to the man in the back corner. He's just part of the decoration.
Yeah, he's not here tonight. And sometimes he gets a choice if he wants to be here. This is also like his gaming computer. So I buy him every single time, but he does get the option of if he wants to be on camera or not.
Just say, hey, why not? We want to see the back of his head. Why not?
Back of his head. I like it. I married it. So
I have my husband in here because then the F-bombs, you'd hear him swearing at games and stuff. It's just,
this mic is pretty good at being quiet because I'm sure he said some things in the back there.
Yeah, no, my husband's terrible. So I just think sometimes you hear him through the door. So I just stay out. Can't come in until I'm done.
Yeah.
So we're just going to jump right in. And my first question is to you. Who is Joan? Tell us all about Joan, the person.
Well, I'm a Cancer. Just not kidding. That is true. But I grew up in New Jersey, born and raised. You can probably tell what part of New Jersey. If you know, because I say Taylor ham and not pork roll. So that's a fun nod to my Jerseyites out there who will get that. And then I was in college in Vermont. So that was a little bit different. I went for education. I was a special education teacher for 5 or so years. And then I left that in 2020 because I decided it wasn't for me. And now I work at a new place that I can't give too much information out because it's very specialized, but it's an engineering company. So I work for them on their website testing. So that's that. I have a brother who's a sound engineer, so I very much appreciate that. And then I also have my husband. We have been dating since senior year of high school on and off. So it's probably been about 16 years since we've been dating. So
nice.
Yeah. And then, for hobbies, I used to be a ski instructor for a very long time. So I did that. And then I read tarot for fun. And I also do like a dance class every week. And it's kind of witchy. So we do a witchy dance class.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And then karaoke every Friday, basically. So
I see we were just talking about karaoke. All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Let it rip. Okay. Yeah. So well-rounded. Yeah, I found because I did a little, research because I was looking for a photograph for you. So I got on your page and
Thanks.
beautiful wedding, beautiful
Thank you.
wedding.
Thank you.
So
I really appreciate that.
you were a lovely bride.
Thank you.
So-
Actually, where we had our wedding, this might be too much information. It probably won't be. Because I'm not going to say all the details. Where we had our wedding, there's a restaurant attached to it, and that restaurant was recently featured in a movie.
Oh.
And I didn't know it was going to be in the movie, and I saw it in theaters, and I like smacked my friend, and I was like, "That's it, I got married there." So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. So it's fun seeing the place. And then there's a scene where they're dancing, and I'm like, they can't dance there. That's a hallway. Like, and you can tell that they like framed it that they were really close.
Right.
To the
They
people.
tightened it right in a tight shot.
Yeah, I was like, that's not a dance floor. That is a hallway.
Isn't it funny? And it kind of ruins it for you because you already know the space.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, come on. They can't do that there. What the?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because the whole scene, they're like, oh, we're in New York City, and then we're getting dinner. And I was like, that's a far drive from New York City to get dinner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wayne says, job sounds interesting. Ski instructor, dance instructor.
I'm not a dance instructor. Let's be very clear about this.
She just likes to shake her groove thing.
Yeah,
karaoke. Her talents are limitless.
Yes. I like to follow somebody else's instructions while I dance. I don't make the instructions.
Aha. So don't forget, guys, ask all the questions you want. That's what this is all about. Let's see. Chris says, I haven't stalked Joan's page yet. I'm sorry. And you're welcome. Maybe. Oh,
thank you.
You get to see some great stuff and some pretty pictures.
Thanks.
That's pretty much how I get everybody's photograph. Unless I ask outright, I just go over Facebook, snatch one I like and put it on there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had an Aussie fireman here yesterday. Unfortunately, they don't look like they do on the calendar. Oh, really? That's a bummer, Caroline. Because that calendar is pretty hot. So
should we be concerned that you had a firefighter there?
Yeah.
First?
True.
Yeah, less about the aesthetic. What happened? Don't answer, but answer. What happened? Did you need the firefighter there? Was it just like a fun call? Just to see what happens. See if they show up.
Maybe, yeah. See if the calendar guys show up. Yeah. Let's see here. I seriously enjoyed her New Year's tradition video. That was Cree. Welcome, Cree. So, okay, now we're going to ask, the obvious question. What made you get into what you do?
So I admittedly looked at some of your previous interviews, and I was trying to think about this question because I can't remember when I started getting interested in the paranormal. I will say that I was raised Roman Catholic, and I do feel like a lot of Catholicism has like a look at this object. It's actually the relic of such and such a person. And you're like, whoa, that's like crazy. So I feel like there's already those like mystical properties that I was already brought up with. Such as like we had an Infant of Prague statue, and it's like, yeah, this means this thing. So like there was already symbolism there.
Right.
And then my mom's side of the family came over from Ireland, and they Americanized very quickly because they were coming over when there was British rule, there was a lot of oppression, and they just wanted to become Americans as quickly as possible. So a lot of those traditions got dropped, except, and we learned this more when we went to Ireland this year, my grandmother very much stuck by the Irish tradition of never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So I grew up hearing stories, and she wouldn't lie, but the details would be slightly different to make it more grand of a story. And then like growing up, I would learn about these things and I'd be like, oh, so that's not exactly true. Why would she tell me a not exactly true story? And it's like, well, because it's a little bit more entertaining that way. And so with that, and then just that love of the paranormal. And then when I went to college, I took a folklore class, and seeing that so many tropes like continue from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And like the reason for telling these stories sometimes were lessons of like, the one of like, don't let your children go near the water because they're going to drown. So we're going to make up this mythical creature that grabs your children's ankles and pulls them down. And that way the kids get scared. So like, okay, so there's sometimes there's a lesson behind it. And then sometimes you hear these stories to just keep you like away from certain things, but other times you hear these stories because they were just misinterpreted things of the time. And then it got me wondering, like, why do we tell these ghost stories and these cryptid stories and these paranormal stories? And I think that's like where I landed with everything is I would learn that such and such thing didn't actually happen the way that I was told. And I still found so much enjoyment in figuring out that history and that puzzle. So I think that's kind of what I aim to do now and why I am where I am.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. James wants to know, did you know in Greece that they pen their goats with their sheep? Madness. I don't know if that's anything she's ever looked up, but thanks for the heads up,
Yeah,
James.
that's very paranormal. I do agree that herding practices in different countries has a lot to do with where the world is today. That's
I,
my pageant answer.
hi, Joe. How's it going? Let's see. He goes, I remember growing up, my parents used to tell children, don't swallow watermelon seeds because a watermelon would grow in your stomach. Yes, we had the
Yes.
same thing. Oh my God, that's funny.
I should also say there was a documentary, and I cannot remember its name. It was on Netflix, and that also like kind of sprung this, where they would tell an urban legend and then explain some actual true crimes that happened around that time that might have led to the telling of that urban legend. And that also was like, oh my God, like the culture of the world and the social political of the world has an effect on these stories and how we hear these stories. So I always
Yes.
sort of found that so cool.
Cree wants to know, where do you look for your research?
So the way that I do it is honestly, I go into Google and I type in my topic and I go and I find a whole bunch of resources and I copy paste those resources into a document and I'll read them and I'll highlight them. And then through that, I will make notations about like, what does this like make me think and what does this bring up? And then if I ask a question, I will then go and Google that question and look up a bunch of other resources and like highlight them to see if I can figure it out and try to puzzle piece it together. I do a lot of Google. I am dyslexic, so like reading a hard like a book is sometimes difficult to me for me to do in a timely manner.
Right.
So I do really appreciate just getting like resources online. I'm also well aware that not every resource is a great resource. And I do try to like note that when I'm like giving my like talks, and I do try to look for a part, like look for something that's stated in multiple places. And if it's stated in multiple places, then I tend to add more to it.
Fantastic. Okay, we've got another question from Sage. Sage wants to know, what's your favorite lore? Hello, Carla.
My favorite lore.
Yeah, good question.
There's like a lot of different ones. So I'm gonna say like my two favorite is I love the story of the Greenbrier ghost. And just like quickly go over that for those who are not aware. Basically, this mother comes and says, my daughter's ex-husband, well, my daughter's husband offed her. And I know this because she's coming to me in dreams. And then they go and exhume the body and find that like the things that were suggested like from this dream has happened to this body, and they go to court and she uses that to like testify against the guy and sticks to the story, and he ends up getting convicted of the crime.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I love that story, because I personally, I don't think she did see her daughter's ghost in a dream. I think this woman was like, how do I get because she already didn't like the guy. And he already had a wife who passed away under mysterious circumstances. And then he had another wife who was like, yeah, he's a bad guy. So I think she was like, it was like a mother's love of like, how do I get attention put on me so that I can get this body exhumed and like seen and can know what happened.
Right.
And then my other favorite lore is probably like cryptid wise is the Banshee, because I think it gets a very bad rap. I think it's seen as one that brings death on, but really all they're doing is like There's like 7 or 8 families in Ireland, depends on like what you're looking at, who have a banshee attached to them. And they're basically like, hey guys, someone's gonna die. You should go tell everybody.
Oh, jeez.
And like, it's not like if you see the banshee, you're going to die. It's usually not you. It's usually someone in this like major family that's going to pass
Right.
away. So, and it's also seen as like like the reason they wail is because they are mourning so hard for you. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, that's something I didn't know.
yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. Chris wants to know, who was the biggest influence for your channel and why was it me?
It was definitely Fear the Living, because Chris is awesome. But if I was also going to pick another, just to add, if I was gonna pick another, I would say like big channels outside of this like niche in general. Um, I love Nexpo. I love Night Mine, Nick Nocturne, and Loey Lane. I would say like a lot of Loey Lane with like her girly approach to the paranormal is what I really like and like emulate. Uh I also I think more got introduced to this section of YouTube starting with Ben and Lainey, because I am a gossip girly. I do love a bit of gossip, and Ben and Lainey were like, "Hey, do you want to know the tea that's happening in the ghost hunting community?" And I was like, I do,
Oh,
absolutely."
jeez.
But then through that, like, I learned about Side Eye Guy, I learned about Truth or Demons, and then I like dove more into this niche per se.
Right. So she discovered us all.
Yeah.
James wants to know, have you ever read The Golden Burrow, a wide range of comparative study of mythology and religion, written by Scottish anthropologist Sir James George Fraser, over 100 years old. Wow.
I have not, but I'm going to take a picture of the screen and look that up later. No, don't zoom in. Why would I want you to zoom in right now? Just take a photo. Thank you. I have not, but I will have to look into that. That's really interesting. I would love to read a comparative study.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, paranormal. Yeah. Oh, of course. I was trying to put up what Joe put. Never trust anything the AI tells you. Joe has proved that. We're going to be bringing Joe on so we can discuss that. Hey, Tina, how's it going?
I honestly don't trust a lot of AI, to be
AI is
honest.
so scary, and yeah, I want to
Yeah.
really dive into that with Joe.
Yeah, I've been so I don't have the Google AI turned off, and I really should, because I was using it as a summary piece, not for my studies, more like if I'm like, can I feed my dog this kind of a deal. And I looked up something for my 2025 bingo card, and the AI said it was if Ariana Grande is still dating SpongeBob was like my bingo card.
Right.
And it was like, they're not dating. And then I scrolled down and it was like, wait, no, they are dating. And I was like, you could like give me a direct answer at the very least. So I wasn't
Jeez.
using it for research. I was using it for summary, but now it's burned me and I don't like it at all.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you so much for the gifts. Hopefully, everybody says thank you. Thank you to Rob, superstar.
Good job, Rob.
Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Never mind. Is very relaxing, and Shrouded Hand is too.
Hmm.
Oh, Night Mind is very
Yeah.
relaxing, and Shrouded Hand is too.
He is
How's,
very relaxing. He's a very deep voice.
so that's what a lot of them get me. It's terrible. I always said it all the time. My problem is I get into bed and I
Mhm.
turn on one of these guys with these voices, and it takes not even 5 minutes, and I am out cold.
No, I have specific YouTube essayists that I listen to go to sleep. Like, I have very specific, they don't play a lot of music because like music will jar me awake. But like, yeah, I have several that I like just happen to line up. So,
Right. Well, that's why I try to catch up on what I'm missing during the day, and it just doesn't work.
oh,
So it's that's why I'm watching somebody else's stuff. Okay, Dave has a question for you.
hmm.
Do you have a favorite haunted location?
So here's a fun fact about me. I've never been ghost hunting. I've
Ah,
done ghost walking tours. I have never been ghost hunting, and that's why I don't err on the side of debunking, if we're going to call it like, whatever definition you're going with. I'm not looking at other people's ghost hunting and then saying if I think it's real or not. I'm very, very interested in the narratives. So I just do want to make that clear. Do I have a favorite haunted location? No. No, I don't. I could jokingly say I think at one point I thought my grandma's house was haunted, so my
That could
grandma's
have
house.
been.
Yeah, could have been.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, that's why I didn't say, why did you get into the paranormal? Because I know you do a wide range
Mhm.
of narrative. So it's like, from one to another to another to another. So I didn't want to just, put it in a special category. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I do the I know, like, I just talked about rituals, but I do feel like rituals is part of the paranormal supernatural realm. I know my personal definition of the paranormal is anything that is outside of your daily normalcy. So anything that you can't explain on the surface, or like someone could explain on the surface. I say supernatural is a natural occurring ability that has been heightened in some way. So I do feel like when something is given mystical properties, it becomes paranormal, which is like a lot of our rituals. And that's what I was trying to say with that New Year's Eve thing, is that like we've given things mystical properties, such as singing Old Lang Syne is a form of well-wishing people. And that is a mystical property, because what is a word gonna do? Nothing, technically. But it's the same way that like we say God bless you when someone
right.
sneezes. You're wishing well on them. There's almost like a magic that you think you're controlling when you do that.
So yeah. Chris
Mhm.
says I can say, can I just say Ladies Fright is the best thing I've seen on YouTube since the last time I watched Ladies Fright. And I watch it a lot. You got the job, Chris. All right.
Yeah.
So you got the job.
Yeah.
So and, hey Cynthia, how's it going? I have a question then about, have you ever had your own paranormal experience?
So I have had one thing that has happened to me that I would say is the closest to paranormal that I've like come about. I would not say, I used to joke in high school. So in high school I used to watch Ghost Adventures every Friday, come home. It was part of like the ritual of a Friday. My friend and I, we would watch Ghost Adventures. We make fun of DJ Z-Bag, as I would like to call him. Uh, he was a wedding DJ, so I'm just giving him his accolades. So DJ Z-Bag, we'd watch him, we'd laugh at him, not with him, because I don't think he laughed too often. And like we would just have fun with it. I used to joke then that I don't think the ghost would come near me because I wanted them to badly, and like it's that sense of desperation they weren't into. They're like, oh, that's
Here, I'm
one.
here. Come and get me.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, a ghost, love me, choose me, and they're like, no. But in later years, I've been saying now, I go back and forth on whether I truly believe in ghosts and also what I define as a ghost. And I am saying ghost and not cryptids very specifically, because I don't really believe too much in cryptids. Um, I believe there is intelligent life forms not of this planet. I don't know if I know if they've come here. But the ghost specifically, I've gone back and forth on what if I think they're real or what I even think a ghost is. That being said, uh, a year and a half ago, my uncle passed away suddenly, and we had come back, and it was probably about 2 weeks or so after this, and I was driving to a yoga class, and I had my window of my car slightly opened, and I pass by and I hear bam, and I'm covered in dirt, the best I can describe it, and I reek all of a sudden. And it was to the point where like I stopped the car and looked around because I thought someone threw something at me.
Uh-huh.
And I went and I pulled into a parking lot. I'm looking at myself. I'm covered in something, and there's also bugs crawling on me. There are maggots on me, and I'm freaking
Oh.
out. And I drive back slowly, back the way I came, and I'm looking around, and there's nothing. I can't figure out what it was. And then I realized there was a crabapple tree that had dropped an apple and it somehow perfectly fallen into my car window.
Oh God.
And I came home and it had like bruised me. It was bad and it was covered. And I came home and I was like to my husband, I'm like, I help. I'm gross, help.
I've been appled.
Yeah. And he went and he cleaned my car for me as I cried in the shower. And I had to text this yoga studio and be like, hey, I'm not coming today. I got attacked by an apple, not an owl. There's no owls. And I like sent a picture to her because I was like, how do you like, no one's gonna believe me.
Right.
And I was like, if this is my uncle trying to tell me like, hey, this is not a good idea to go to yoga today, he could have found a better way to do it, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, he wanted your attention. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, he could have found a better way.
All right. And I can honestly say it wasn't my husband, because my husband, when he was a kid, used to throw apples at cars. So he wasn't there. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, I don't know if I actually think that was a ghost or just really bizarre timing, but it was, you know, we were going through a lot of hurt. So telling my mom that like made her feel a lot better. So sometimes we like to say that like Jerry was just being a jerk that day and threw an apple at me.
He whipped an apple at you. Mm-hmm. Wayne wants to know, which haunted place interests you the most and why?
Which haunted place? So I'm working on a topic right now, and it took place in Maine. And I can just say it. I'm working on the topic of Nellie Butler, who is supposed to be the first recorded ghost in America. And I don't know if it was faked, but I think it was, and I don't know how. And I'm now having to do research into 1700s architecture. And the house no longer exists. But if that was a location that existed, I would love to go there to try to see if I could figure out why it was like the way it is. Like what happened? Because I have a hunch, but I want to see if I could figure it out. So currently, that is my most interested haunted place.
Well, actually, that's very interesting, because if you're thinking maybe the architecture has something to do with the haunting.
Yes. So, I mean, not to give too much away, I think there's gaps in the walls, and I think someone was hiding in those gaps. And I'm basing that theory off of a true crime case of Daniel LaPlante, who was, I believe, in New Hampshire. And before he committed the crimes he committed, he was actually terrorizing another family, and they thought he was the ghost of their dead mom, but really he was just hiding in their walls.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good night, Pomp. Have a great one.
Night, Pomp.
And let's see. We have a question from Chris. Chris says, does Joan have a favorite non-haunted location?
Probably my house at the moment. It's pretty chill. I like coming home.
By the way, happy birthday, Cynthia and Rob. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
I know we're behind, so let's see.
It's okay. I talk a lot. That's why I have a podcast.
That's why we're here. Yep, that's why we're here. James says, do you find the pagan subtext around mainstream religions really fascinating? The Catholic Mass is full of smoke and chanting. I guess the Romans knew how to convert people efficiently back then.
Do I find it yes, I do. But I find it interesting in the same way that I find it interesting that like many cultures have like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. So I always find it very interesting why there's such connective tissue between things. I don't practice a religion currently. I think it's fine if someone does practice a religion as long as they are not hurting themselves or those around them. And I think that's like a big thing. That being said, yes, I do find it interesting. I find that like the tradition of Christmas, we see a lot of pagan rituals happening then with like Yule and everything like that. And if you like were to ask somebody in Catholicism, why do we have a Christmas tree? They would be like, I don't know. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah, a
that's
lot of them don't know. Well, because that's a German tradition, actually, the Christmas
yes.
tree. So yeah.
Yes, and it is a German pagan tradition
Yep.
of like decorating the tree, especially putting candles on the tree. It's light within the darkest time of the year. I know
I
Adam
wouldn't
ruins.
recommend that, guys. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, don't do that now. Adam Ruins Everything did a really interesting episode about the traditions of Christmas and like actually how it was like outlawed in England for a little bit because people got too rowdy. So I do find it interesting. I think people just like want a reason to celebrate in the darkest time of the year. So I'm not going to give
we need
them.
it because I think everybody goes into a depression
They
during
do.
the winter months. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
something that just makes everybody feel better.
Yeah.
So let's see. I don't want to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, hello, Michelle. Michelle popped in. Hi. I know I've seen somebody popping in. Okay, Rob says, "Oh, sorry. My question is for Laura. When is the next edition of the miniature making? The last one was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Soon, maybe sooner than Sunday, because the building's coming together really quickly. So I've got a bunch of stuff I got to put out. I'm putting together. So
Mhm.
we will talk about that later, but let's get caught up and see what we're missing here. Actually, my question for you is, what do you believe that we become once we pass on from the physical form? What do you believe happens to us?
So I go back and forth on this a lot. Sometimes I think absolutely nothing. But I should say that I acknowledge that, like, and this is the whole thing about narratives, that we as living people need those stories about what happens to us just so it doesn't seem so bleak. And I fully respect that. Other times, sometimes I wonder if there's like just like another dimension. And like sometimes things act as a two-way mirror and sometimes they act as a one-way mirror between us. Sometimes I think that it's just an echo of something and like there's not really anything there. Because I think you have to go into the debate then of like, what is a soul? And do we have a soul? And then also ask the question, what is a soul versus the consciousness? So like you might have a certain consciousness while alive that it then deteriorates for whatever reason. But is that your soul? And then does your consciousness pass on or does like your soul pass on? And I don't know. I think is the thing. And even if you ask me, what do you think? The best I can do is what I'm doing here and talk it out about like I just have questions still.
Mhm.
I'm interested in finding out. I think I very much respect what people find comfort in. So I don't ever want to tell someone like, hey, when you die, you just rot in the ground.
Right,
And
right.
you should get over it right now real fast.
Right.
Because there are times where like grief is so strong that you need to think that your loved one can reach out to you in some way, shape, or form. Have it be in a very personal thing. I know someone today, I was watching a video about grief, and someone was saying like, yeah, I don't practice religion, but I say I can feel my dad whenever I have a piece of cake, and I'm like, he would have loved that cake. And I think that's like such a nice thing because that's not a ghost, that's not a spirit, that is just like the memory of that
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
Yeah. So
So
I don't
what
know
are
if
your
that answered that question.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
no,
sorry.
because everybody has, a different answer for that question. So that's why I like to ask it.
Mhm.
Everybody has their own beliefs of what we are, what we become. And then of course I follow up with, what are your thoughts on reincarnation?
I uh I believe it less and less the more I learn about stuff. Because as I said, sometimes I'm like, what we have is our consciousness in this time and period, and we should use our consciousness to the best of our abilities, harm reduce, be the best person we can be within this lifetime. So if I'm aiming to be the best within this lifetime, I shouldn't have to care about what's happening in the quote unquote next lifetime. I mean, I've gotten creeped out by the stories of those kids claiming that they've had past lives and it being real freaky.
Yes.
But then, like, when you talk to those kids or when you read those stories, there's such vague details. And as I said, I was a teacher. I worked with kids. And I know I said I love Loie Lane. Loie Lane has this thing where she's like, I always believe pets and kids. And I'm like, the two things I don't believe is pets and kids. Kids react to the way that you're like, depending on the age, react to the way that you're reacting. I've seen so many videos where the kids say something funny and then an adult's like, and the kid's like, oh yeah, I'm also freaked out now. Like,
Right. Well, yeah, they're going to follow
yeah.
what their parents do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because I've then like looked into those stories and listened to those kids say things, and I'm like, you have no clue what you're talking about. And the adults around you are like puzzle piecing things together for you. And you're just like, yeah. And then it always happens that they end up forgetting. And people are like, oh, that's because of this. And I'm like, no, that's because their brain wasn't developed when you were first asking them those things and then feeding them the answers to the questions.
Yeah, could be. Good way to
Yeah.
look at it. Now, as far as investigating
Mhm.
in the paranormal, and I know you probably have watched a lot of investigations, lots of channels.
When I was younger, less now, but yeah, when I was younger.
How do you feel about people using equipment to contact those that have passed on?
Um, I don't think it makes any sense. My whole thing is that you can't say something contacts a ghost if we're not even sure what ghosts are.
Answer.
So I work for an engineering company, and when we put out devices, because our devices specifically go into lab equipment, when we put out devices, we have to do extensive research on that device and then put it in like the manual and the manufacturing. And mind you, I haven't read these manuals. I haven't read the manufacturers because I don't ghost hunt. But I have very little belief that I could find testing results for any of these things and look at them and then go, "Oh, yes, this makes sense." Like we can't put out a piece of a thing and go, "It could detect this. Trust me."
And right, yeah, that's exactly right.
So I don't believe in any of that. If anything, I would be more keen on believing like, yeah, I put flour down and I saw footprints in it. And I'm like, that makes more sense.
Makes more sense. Speaking of flower, hi flower, and welcome to the show.
Hi.
um, yeah, I have. Or what are your thoughts on EVPs?
I think it's a lot of pareidolia because I close my eyes and I don't hear the same thing most of the time. And also like once I forget what it is, like there's one pareidolia thing where if someone puts up like one set of words, you hear it, and then they play the same sound with another set of words and you hear that. I was actually considering for one of my live streams playing a game where I just played mumbled stuff, and then everyone has to guess what it's saying. And if they could, like, if we could get consensus on like what has been said, that I'd find that pretty funny. Uh, I also think it's as simple as sometimes you listen to songs that do have words on it and you don't hear it right. Like, how many people hear Bad Moon on the Rise and they're like, bathroom on the right? What?
Right,
So
they can't make out the words.
yeah. So yeah, I don't necessarily believe in electric voice phenomena. I don't and it's not that I don't believe that if ghosts could talk, that's how you would figure it out. I just don't think the evidence being presented is what it is.
So, well, that's why it's important for people to document as much as they can,
Mhm.
test everything as best as they can, because maybe eventually, I don't know, we probably will never find the truth, but
Mhm.
it's worth a shot. Good night, pedals. Thanks for hanging out with us. Rob
Thanks.
wants to know, what song do you like to murder on karaoke?
So my go-to, like I only have one song to sing and I gotta get out of here is oh my god. Not living on a prayer. That is another one that I do. Why the journey one. Don't stop believing. I don't know why that went through my brain. Don't stop believing is my go-to.
Ah,
I gotta sing a song in a couple of minutes and then I gotta go. So yes. And I'm sorry, back to the EVP thing really quickly. I also find it very interesting that the voices that they get are not saying words that would be known within that time period a lot of the time, or that they're not speaking in a way that would make sense for that time period. And then I do have to question, do ghosts become omnipotent and now they know like 6-7? Like they get all the slang? Or like like, because I can't imagine someone in Shakespearean time would have any clue what I'm saying if I'm like, yeah, that's lit. Like,
Well,
what are you talking
they would
about?
have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as like collecting EVPs, are you talking about somebody that's using a spirit box or a digital recorder?
Either. The spirit box, I'm actually not counting the spirit box because like, based on that you getting radio frequencies, you'd hear what they're saying.
Right.
But like, if you're like listening to something and you're like, bah, 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 and you put it out, and then they come back and they're like, I think that's cool. They didn't say cool probably during that time period that you were talking. Like the slang they use is not the same. So I do find that interesting.
That, yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
The only EVPs that I've actually caught is someone has said my name,
Mm.
or repeated their supposed name,
Hmm.
and then the longest one I've ever gotten is somebody is watching you. So who knows? I mean, I don't know what time period they were from. The section
Yeah.
I was in was an older section of the cemetery, but
Okay.
it was just basic words, nothing that you would say, well, gee, they don't talk that way. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, we have to leave the door open for that possibility. There might be some way of communication.
Yeah. I'm not saying that there's no way. I'm just saying I think the data that's been shown is probably not the same analysis of like how other people would like if given to other people how they would look at that data. But that's
Right. See, that's the important thing. I always try to, stress with everybody, no matter who is in the community, even if you're not in this community and you're off, on your own and not even on YouTube. It's so important to collect that data, compare it with other people's findings, so you can compare notes and see. That's how we're going to move forward.
Mhm.
Just relying on the same old doesn't work. So I'm hoping people are just going to start amping things up so we can get maybe some better results. Let's see.
Mhm.
James says, do you find that nobody ever claims to be a boring person in their previous lives? It's always, I was Queen Cleopatra. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if
It's
someone's
true.
telling you what you were, they're usually you gotta give a name. You can't be like, yeah, you were Ted. He lived in Seattle. it's,
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
Uh,
What did he do? Nothing really. He
yes.
let
Yes. You have ever noticed? I have noticed
yeah.
that everyone, when
Yeah.
they find out if they were someone in past life, it's always, you never hear, oh, he was a sheep farmer or,
Yeah, Ted from Seattle, as I
It's,
said.
yeah, exactly. It's never just something plain, which is you find kind of odd. Wayne
Yeah.
says, we've got to hear you sing now, Joan. Oh, you
I
said you
I couldn't possibly because then Seg would he would lose his spot. So that's his thing. I can't encroach. He will copyright strike me.
well, see, the thing is, Seg sings badly. He knows that. So
Seg sings like an angel on high. I don't know
yeah.
what you're talking about. It would be really cool if he maybe knew the words to the songs he was
Yes,
singing.
yeah, they would help him a lot. Yeah.
That would be cool.
That's what
But
Pinky
yeah,
says. Have you ever heard Seg sing?
Seg one morning, one of my mornings, it was definitely his night because he was drinking, sang Ladies Fright or Ladies Night in the tune of Ladies Fright when I came on. And it was
Jesus.
magical. I hold that memory dear to my
Oh,
heart.
so see, he won her over. That's
Yeah.
it. She's
Yeah.
done.
If I'm having a bad day, I just remind myself that for a moment, Seg unprompted sang about my channel. So
Oh, there you go. That's talk about
was he
beautiful.
drunk? Who can tell?
Most likely, yes. Yeah, James says, "Didn't Seg sing Journey?" God, I hope not, because Journey's my groove, man. Don't ruin Journey. So I'm glad I missed that one.
So I don't actually often sing Don't Stop Believing because my husband doesn't like it in the way that he's like,
Oh,
there's so many other good Journey songs. And I'm like, but I sing this one good. Leave me alone.
you got to
So
sing
yeah.
Jesse Rides. It's all a cappella. It's great.
Ugh. But yeah.
Now I'm setting her up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mr. Prism says, for both. Oh, goodness gracious. Why are there so many ghost stories and hauntings in the USA and UK and pretty much nothing in the Netherlands? I've looked into haunted locations here, but they are all castles. Good question.
Um
Uh, you
I
go
would
ahead.
I would have to ask because I haven't done research. How religious is the Netherlands in general? Because there is a lot of coinciding between like religious practices and then getting um stories, especially Christianity. And then I would also have to ask, because I don't know world history that well, I'm not gonna lie, like not on the top of my head.
Right.
Was the Netherlands ever taken over by someone like the British? Because
That's
there's
stressful enough.
a lot of stories that come from like one place and then get moved and changed to another place. For example, the example I always bring up is there were specific types of duendes in South America, and they were seen as helpers of bearing children for women and like good things. But then the conquistadors came over and they suddenly turned a darker shade, and they were said to steal babies instead of
Ah,
helping mothers. So we do know that like lore gets taken over from other places. I would also ask in general, is the Netherlands a superstitious place? So we do see a lot of stories coming from like Japan and China, but there's a lot of like local superstition
yeah.
just among that and doing superstitious practices in general. So that's
Uh,
my question.
Also, well, and also you have to remember that a lot of these places, their superstitions precede what they're allowed to speak about. So,
Mhm,
just like with the Native Americans, they don't talk about certain things because it's bad taboo.
mhm,
So if there is something going on in the Netherlands, maybe their spiritual beliefs, prevent them from telling the stories.
mhm.
So that's another thing that we've got to think about. What do you have in the works? Sage wants to know.
Um, so my next one is actually a collaboration with Justin from the Paranormal Monkey. We talked about the history and the story behind the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. So
Nice,
I
Monkey
would
Man.
say, yeah, I would also say it's like probably the one of the most famous ghost photos. I know that it sparked a lot of interest from me as a child. And then I have local folklore of Texas, specifically San Antonio, about the donkey lady and how she is real. I'll give you a little preview. She's real, but you're gonna have to listen to find out what I mean by that.
Well, I've never heard of the Donkey Lady, so that's going to be interesting.
Very interesting. I
So,
do open
guess what
it
I'll be
by
doing later? I'll be looking it up.
yeah. And then for February, I just finished doing one about a Nepalese cryptid, and then I'm looking up, as I said, Nellie Butler, and that's what I have for going on right now.
There you go. Welcome in, Abby. Never late. Never late. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. The Donkey Lady. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting story. I think a lot of people focus on the goat man and not the donkey lady. So
See, who knew there was a Donkey Lady?
oh
Good
no.
Lord. We're going to have to write that one down so I don't forget, because I'll forget. It's terrible.
The donkey lady of San Antonio.
Of San Antonio.
Mhm.
And then we've got Mr. Prism says, we used to be really bloody religious. We pretty much invent Protestantism.
Protestantism.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
It's not a word I see every day.
Yeah.
And we are superstitious, but it's more the things that we don't boil water twice. So, but yes, and that's what I'm saying. When you don't hear folklore, or you might hear the folklore, but you don't hear certain stories from other regions on the globe because it's against their religious beliefs. So I'm sure they probably have a ton of their own folklore and stories, but they just don't. They don't share it. Uh,
I
James, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I would say Mr. President. I'll look in. I think I talked about, or not in any of the ones on Ladies Right. I think I've talked about in a past life of mine, not a literal past life, but a different time in my life, about I think goat riders, and they might have been from the Netherlands. So,
Ah,
but I have to double check. They might have not been, but I think the goat riders were from the Netherlands.
maybe that's where the story Ghost Rider comes from. It could have a connection.
Maybe it's more like they were male witches and they rode goats in the night.
Hey, whatever,
they had
whatever
flying
floats their
goats.
boat.
Yeah. It could have been though.
Let's see. James says the Donkey Lady was a stripper in Newcastle, right? Oh yeah, an urban legend. Good Lord, I don't know.
James, I don't know what you do on your free time, but not the one with Texas.
Yeah, I don't even think I'd want to watch that if she was a stripper. Let's see. Wayne says donkey lady, whatever next. The fluttering butterfly woman. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, no, I don't know about a butterfly woman, but I could look. I'm sure there's something. We as
Right.
humans love taking an animal and a human and making them
Just
kiss.
yeah, meshing them together.
Yeah.
Let's see. James says the Dutch I met seem pretty non-religious.
I mean, that could be now, but that doesn't necessarily mean in the past. Cultures go through different things. There's been a decrease in religious practice in the last 10 years in general anyway. So that could be a symptom of that.
Right. Yes, Chris Warlocks. That's what they
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. And Netherlands can become Christians. Okay, Mr. Prism says.
Yes, the Broken Hiders.
I'm glad you could say that.
Yeah. It's a wild.
Brookenhiders?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. If you want, I have some information on them more if you want me to share those with you. But yeah, that's what I was talking about, except I don't speak Dutch. So that's why I didn't say that.
Yeah, yikes. I'm glad you knew how to pronounce that one. That
Yeah.
one would have
And then
been
there's also another one that I didn't do research in, but like it's the White Witches or the White Maiden Witches or something like that. And that also has another Dutch name. So
yeah, that's ugh. Well, I mean, you could just pretty much type in anything on Google and some kind of story will pop up.
yeah.
Let's see. I think I've already drank too much. Dare I ask, who's the donkey lady?
You'll have to find out.
She's dangling the carrot. The carrot is dangled,
The
guys.
carrot for the donkey.
Yeah.
It's getting dangled. Yes.
Yeah, she's got it out on a rod right in front of it there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mr. Prism says that we have one of the highest percentages of atheists in the world.
Okay.
Okay, Pinky says that she is a female cryptid, I think.
I am or Pinky is. I mean, I'll accept the nomenclature. I want to know. who are we?
I don't know. Good question. What wasn't there a movie about them? The Brokenback Mountain. Jesus Christ.
No, that's a different movie.
Broken.
Yeah, I also don't think there were goats in that movie. I believe there were horses, but not goats.
Jeez. Oh my God! Now he's got more stuff that I can't pronounce. Give me a break.
Witvin. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even try. It's going to sound like I'm trying to insult a bunch of people.
That's the part. Maybe Deogen is the only part I can make out. But we don't have something like a haunted murder house with poltergeist.
Oh, okay. So like you're not looking for folkloric creatures. You're specifically asking about hauntings. That might have to do with the high belief in atheism and not believing that there is an afterlife. So why come up with ghost stories if you don't believe that there's anything after death?
Right.
Would be my guess to it.
Wayne says, yeah, I know of horse manure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it getting thrown around here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So even though that you have certain beliefs and question a lot of what's going on, do you actually have a favorite investigating team that you enjoy watching?
No, because I don't watch ghost hunting anymore. So I guess like the best answer, and mostly because he was just on Alive right before we came on, so it's the last one I saw. And like a toddler, I have very little object permanence. Seg is my favorite ghost hunter. He was just on. So
yeah, because he's a goofball. That's but I love his enthusiasm because I think he actually really wants to experience something.
Yeah, if Eric Vitale was on right before this, it would have been Eric Vitale. If it was Kenny Biddle, would have been Kenny Biddle. Just any, you put it in front of me, and I'm like, that's it. That's my favorite now
for the time being, right?
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
And I would love to actually be able to investigate with all of these guys because they each have a different style, each a different reaction. So it would be actually just fantastic to be able to be a part of that.
I feel like you could only ghost hunt a soundstage before it would be a comedy of errors.
Oh, jeez.
Like everyone would hear a bang and just like skedaddle, and then it would be like that Scooby-Doo scene where they all run through different doors trying to find this sound, and the doors don't make any sense.
Well, actually, the only one I've ever seen running towards anything was Seg. So the rest of them all stand there and wait to see if they can locate where it's coming from.
When he's not racing Jason Hawes in a wheelchair, yeah,
Right,
that's a good time to run.
right. So yeah, but I know all of them pretty much take it pretty seriously. Hey,
Yeah.
Susan, lurk away, Sage. Sage is lurking again. What are you going for, coffee, Sage? Oh no, she's going for dinner. What's for dinner there, Sage?
Yeah, can I have some?
She's always making something to eat. My
Mm.
goodness. Okay, Rob. Yeah, Rob is saying that Joe Vitelli is the best ghost
Oh,
hunter.
Joe, I said Eric. I'm so sorry. I don't know where Eric
That's all
came
right. Yeah.
from.
Joe, that's all right. We know Joe effing Vitelli.
Yeah. Now we
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
friends because like you don't even know my name. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why. I just say names.
She'll make it up. She'll make it up.
I
She
do. I
promised.
will. I promise.
She's
learn.
new. Cut her. You
Mhm.
gotta cut her some slack.
No.
Let's see. I think it's close to dropping an edible and still being on as confused, but being asleep. Oh, Abby. Okay, that's all right.
Oh.
Let's see. I'm 100% Seg ran to it. Yeah, I did love that. He was the first one I've ever, because usually you'll see a lot of these channels where they
Mhm.
say, oh my God, and they run the other way. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's
Yeah.
what you're there for.
So I will have to admit that I would not run towards it. But it's more not because I am afraid it is a ghost and I shouldn't inspect it. One of the reasons I probably wouldn't ghost hunt. That's not fully true. I would have to be one of those people like that pays to go to a place. I would never do an urban exploration. My biggest fear is that someone is secretly living in my walls. Alive people are very scary to me. I
Yes.
remember watching a clip from some chopped up thing, maybe a Nuke's Top 5 or something, where there was like a dog that had a GoPro on it during a ghost hunt, and he like ran up the stairs and then looked under the bed, and there was a guy under the bed and went to grab the dog, and
God.
my heart came out my booty hole.
Yeah. Jeez.
I've seen another ghost hunt where like there was a guy that came around and saw another guy, and the guy punched him, and it turns out they were just two ghost hunters. And they didn't
Beat
realize
each other up.
were there. Yeah. And then like I also feel bad because sometimes people are unhomed and they have no other shelter, and that's where they find shelter. And there's people screaming and trying to figure out where they are. So yeah, I would probably run the opposite direction because I'm scared that it is a live person and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're right. I shouldn't have bothered you while you were trying to sleep. My bad. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah. That is the scary part about abandoned buildings.
That, and like I've been thinking about it too. I forget who I was watching. Someone was covering a ghost hunt, and they were in a room, and like they had like REM pods going off and like the radio scanner thing going off, and I was like, I would be so overstimulated in that room that I would be the ghost. I would become the banshee because I would scream and crawl out of my skin, and I can't imagine just screaming into a room with all that noise. I would need to leave. So I hear a bang and I'm going, that's too loud. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Right. Well, see, that's the importance of doing a walkthrough
Mm-hmm.
in abandons. You do the walkthrough during the daytime that makes sure that there is no signs of anybody staying there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you also got to worry about animals.
Yes.
Last thing I want to run into is a skunk or like a badger or something. It's just
Skunks are not too bad.
Yeah, I don't want to get sprayed. That's okay.
I live in the part of New Jersey that has bear, so
Yeah.
that would scare me. There's bobcat around here too. And raccoons. Raccoons can get nasty. So
yes, they can. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I agree. Animals are scary. People a little more scary. Also, Chris, I resent what you said. I will now make my husband check every closet in our house tonight because that terrifies me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't post that because I knew that. Excuse me. Oh,
I
my throat.
saw it.
She saw it. We tried to let that one slide. Yeah, Dave says, all the beeping, buzzing drives me mad. It does. It drives me nuts too. That's why I don't know how anybody could do the Estes method. That sound just drives me insane. But again, these are things that you want to test and retest and test again because you just never know.
Mhm.
The thing that I get, and I actually was thinking about this the other day. We go through all of this stuff, and everybody says, "Well, you're just talking into to open space," and it's ridiculous and this that. But wouldn't it be just a kick in the teeth that someday we actually realize that some of this stuff works, and we have just debunked ourselves out of actual proof?
I I think you can then go back, and if data has been collected, go and look at that data at a new lens. Because I do say that, like, when you're going ghost hunting, you are essentially talking to the walls in the way that you
Yeah.
you could be talking to something, but also, like, people are like, "Is there a ghost here?" And I also think it would just be silly if the ghosts are, like, in the doorway and they're like, "No, I'm not. It's loud in that room. I'm not going in that room, honestly." Um, but yeah, I think I don't think there should be a fear that we are going to debunk ourselves out of things, because once like, as I said in my debunking video, it'd be amazing if things were proven were proven to be paranormal. And then if you've done the research and you've done the testing, you then have that data to go back and look at and analyze in a different light now, because we've had that in other scientific finds where you might be collecting that, like, time looks like this, the sundials, the sticks and mud, and the shadow measuring, and then figuring out circumference. And we didn't necessarily know that, but we were like, about the earth, that it had a circumference, but we've found that out. And then we can go back and look at the data that we've collected in a new way and make other judgments and calls from that.
Right. Yes, that's why it's so important to keep that data. And I get that a lot from people too. Is, well, I have a video, taped or it's recorded. No, writing it down is very important.
Mhm.
Technology gets screwed up, so and it's flawed. But if you're writing it down, pen and paper, old
Yeah.
school, this way you have it, that data collected and savable.
I I personally find it a bit frustrating. So my husband is an engineer. It's frustrating to me to hear sometimes people talk about these ghost investigations and how they try to set up their things. And me sitting here going, you could talk to someone in the field of chemistry, in the field of physics, and you could ask them how they would set up an experiment. Like, this is my hypothesis. How would you go about setting up an experiment? And
Right.
I feel like they're like, no, 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 no. They just wouldn't get it. They're a different science. And it's like, well, you would need chemistry, and you would need physics, and also you need psychology as well to determine if this is paranormal or not. So go ask the people in the field how they do it. How do
Right.
you prove these things?
Exactly. That's yeah, a very good way of going about it.
Yeah.
Bring in the stuff that it's going to test, like wind speed and stuff like that, because a draft. Well, where did the draft come from?
Hmm.
Is it a big enough draft to make a door close? Same thing. You bring levels and stuff like that to check, the building structure. There's a lot of things that people should bring and they don't.
Yeah.
I get it. They like the bells and the whistles. I get that, but it's bring in the basic scientific equipment
Yeah.
and work off from that.
Hmm.
So let's see. The Cherokee feared and respected owls. Yeah, a lot of people who said, "Oh, Rob is." Are you the one that's afraid of owls, Rob? Yeah, owls are huge.
So yeah, a lot of different cultures have different, like, aspects of owls. You can look at the Greeks and how Athena's, like, animal of wisdom was an owl. We often see that. Going back to actually the banshee, there are some beliefs that people believe the banshee's scream comes from the idea of an owl. So what would happen is you would have troops walking at night to order to go into battle, and if an owl started to screech, it would give away their position, meaning certain death. So that's why the banshee is associated with scream, or like one of the reasons why banshees are associated with screaming.
Right. Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? So yeah, I mean, because if you ever guys have heard an owl
Mhm.
screech, holy
Yeah.
crap, yeah, it's something.
That, are like even worse when you hear the mice they catch scream. That's
Yeah.
also very haunting and upsetting.
I just had one shot where we had
Mhm.
it was a snowy owl, which was really surprising. We were out in the middle of the woods like usual when we were younger, and we were going down the trail. We were actually tracking a bear,
Mhm.
and we were on this trail, and all of a sudden, this thing was huge.
Mhm.
Huge owl come down, touched the ground, and took off. It was catching mice.
Yeah.
The wingspan on that thing was just unbelievable, and it
Yeah.
was, oh my god, it was just beautiful,
I
but
will
scary.
Yeah, I will say, speaking of specialists, because this is a big pet peeve of mine, I implore people who are doing paranormal investigations to please talk to a local zoologist or not an arborist because it's trees, but speak to someone who knows about the local wildlife and become familiar with the sounds they make when they're walking and when they're making calls.
Right.
How I can't take another video of me going, that's a fox. That's a fox. It's not a woman screaming. Women screaming wouldn't be rhythmic like a fox would. And it's, oh,
Well, like I said, like a
these,
bobcat, you
yeah,
do have to know these sounds.
yeah. Different birds and
Right.
things like that. Yes. Just become familiar with them. Deer also scream, which is also a
Yeah.
terrifying sound, but you can identify it. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, I agree with you 100% on this. See, I grew up in the woods and all of that, so I'm familiar with all of those things.
Mhm.
And it does help because that's the first thing everyone's gonna think, "Oh my god, somebody's being murdered in the woods." And no, it's not what's going on.
Mhm.
And it's usually when you watch a lot of the entertainment channels, that's what they try to push off on people is that, "Oh, there's somebody screaming and needs help."
Yeah.
No, that's an animal. It's this or it's that or, it's
It's also a lot of TikToks. The TikToks will be like put that like the woo music on it, and then like you hear the and I'm like, it's a bird, guys.
yeah.
It's a bird.
Well, not everybody knows that, so they
Yeah,
figure, they're not gonna know any different.
yeah.
Like, Jimmy says, "I heard an owl out my window when I was a kid, and I thought it was a coyote laughing at me."
See, that's another thing. Also, coyotes make some very interesting sounds.
Let's see. I've legit been scared by an eagle. Their hoots sound they have the most unique sound,
Mhm.
bald eagles. And it took years, but it was like 3 or 4 years ago, we were camping in the middle of the woods, and I heard this hellish noise, and I look up and an eagle flew over. I go, "Oh my god, I didn't realize that's what they sounded like."
Yeah.
And
Uh,
it wasn't pleasant at all. I think it's such a beautiful bird. What a
mhm.
horrible sound.
I will say if you wanna become panicked a little bit, ravens and crows, and I believe magpies as well, can, mimic human speech. I
Yes.
would say a lot clearer than a parrot can, and
Oh,
that's
yes.
also terrifying. Oh, but I do think there are several places, I think maybe in Australia, but they do have parrots that will like, wild parrots that mimic human speaking, so you have to be careful with that
Sure,
as
you can hear the,
well.
"Hey, buddy, what's going on?" And it's a bird in the bush, right?
Yeah.
How's it going, Steve? How are you? Let's see. My sister got attacked by owls in the 80s. Oh my, you gotta be kidding me.
That's
There were
awful.
hundreds of small owls in our backyard. We went out and they kept dive bombing her. Oh, yikes.
That's awful, and you can't even hear them coming. That's the worst part.
No.
Oh, oh,
What's I'm saying when I had a big, huge snowy owl come out, I'm thinking, oh my God, what's this white thing coming down from the treetops? And it's night and your eyes play tricks. It's just
yeah.
huge. And you didn't even hear it. And it touched the ground, got what it wanted, and it took off.
Yeah. So as I say, I live in New Jersey. I've been to the Jersey Shore. You do have to be careful of the seagulls there. They are nasty.
Yes,
Uh,
they are.
I was one time carrying a funnel cake, and they've learned not to attack you. They've learned to hit the funnel cake off the plate so it lands in the sand. And I had one happen, like I had that happen to me, and I was like young, and I went to my mom, and I was all upset. She goes, "That funnel cake was really expensive. I think you should have fought the seagulls for
Yeah, that's right. They are
it." I was like,
nasty. I had a similar experience. I was up at Alex Bay. We're sitting out at a restaurant on the back patio where it's by the river,
yeah.
loaded with seagulls.
Uh-huh.
And we're sitting there, you're trying to eat a sandwich because it was a sandwich shop. Yeah, they just come right up,
Mhm.
snatched it, and took off.
No fear. No,
None.
actually, they're aggressive. They dislike you and your family line, and they will not tell you why.
Right. They steal your food and then shit
Yeah,
shit on the rail. Yeah, that's just the way they are. They
yeah,
are very aggressive.
and like yeah, when you go to the Jersey Shore, you have to hide your food. You have to be very careful when walking around. They'll
Right.
take they'll take it from a toddler. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
care. They'll fight
Well,
you.
my
It's yeah.
husband, my mother-in-law was deathly afraid of birds, and we were sitting at a Burger King in Adams. It's a town in Pulaski, New York area.
Mhm.
And he had French fries and there was seagulls flying around. He goes, "I should throw these over my mother's head." I go, "Don't you dare, you'll give her a heart attack." because they would have went right for her.
Yeah, they
And
might have
yeah,
gone for her eyes just
oh
because.
yeah. Oh, because he thought it would be funny because she was afraid of birds. I go, don't you dare do it.
No.
Jeez. Yeah, he was something else. She was deathly afraid of birds. She was
Yeah.
attacked by a goose when she was younger.
Which are also very scary. They hiss and they got teeth and they will bite you.
Mean little bastards.
Oh my god. No, I don't like geese either. They're nasty.
Let's see. Sage says that we have a daycare right next to work, and starlings imitate the children's laughter perfectly. Oh, that's cool.
That is the most haunted thing I've heard.
Wow.
I feel like it sounds cool, but then like you just hear a disembodied laugh and it's coming from a bird. It's really upsetting.
Yeah, it's a little shocking. That's really strange.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How many hauntings are just birds? I do have to wonder.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's so important to be a really good debunker. You've got to
Yeah.
know all of these things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you put out that claim, and then somebody like, in the audience is going to be listening. Oh, come on, man. That's that's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
And, they get upset. I get it, but that's all part of the game, I have another question for you. Is like, what makes you go towards a certain topic and want to research it and put it out there? Is there something that, is your muse, or it's just, you just pick something and run with it?
I usually tend to lean towards a lot of folklore, just because of the rich history behind it, and also just seeing how the narrative has morphed over time. I will say that, like, I do tend to focus on a lot of female-centric stories at the moment, not on purpose, just they've just interest me. It is called Ladies Fright, so kind of sticking with the theme a little bit, but it's not going to always be the theme. But yeah, I think the stories honestly that interest me the most, as I said, like with the Greenbrier ghost, is like, is it a haunting or is there a very reasonable explanation to it? Because I also get enjoyment of solving the puzzle.
Right.
And I really like, actually, if there is like a good reason for why it's being told this way. And I think that's why also I don't do ghost hunting and I don't do debunking, because I would just be very excited if like it's not a ghost, as just as excited if I was if it was a ghost.
Right.
I just think it's so interesting, because like when you start to debunk things, I think like one of the things that stands out to me is like Taps one time was doing something and they had an EMF detector. And they're like, oh, it's going crazy. And he goes, yeah, like there's a box right over there. And I'm like, how many times has like the electricity like messed with our heads as humans and we think one thing and not another? And I'm like, that is so cool. That is so interesting that our brains just do that. That we're actually more prone to be scared once we are slightly scared, because there's a mechanism in our little pea brains that are like, oop, that sounds scary. I better heighten every single bit of my taking in
all of the senses.
Yeah, I gotta heighten everything. And that's why if you're already scared, you're more prone to like jump if someone goes boo, because you're not actually scared of the boo. Your body's just ready to react to a stimulus.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, I think that's interesting. But to go back to your question, what I find most interesting, I find it interesting if it feels like a puzzle. If it feels like there's something actually more there than just a ghost story or a cryptid story. And I have been finding so far that there has been like more to the narrative than we were originally told, and like just trying to figure out. So like, for example, I did one about a series called the Blue Lady Ghosts. And at first I didn't think they were connected. And then I realized actually these were all tourist locations, and then led me into looking into paranormal tourism, which found so interesting. And it's like $1 billion industry.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, do people think about this when they go on ghost walking tours? And I don't think they always do. And I think it's important to be a conscious buyer when you're doing stuff. So yeah. that's also that.
That's why I always encourage people, don't run for the paid places first. Go to somewhere it's free. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of local lore in your own hometown. Check that stuff out. It's free. Do it. Yeah. And then, someday if you cash in and got some extra change, then okay, go, through the bucket list.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of the places have been overdone, and so I'd like to see people do just
Mhm.
places around their own hometowns.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rob says, "Have you heard the deaf conspiracy that birds are all robots spying on us? Jesus, some people need to lay off the drugs."
That is one of the only conspiracies I like. So I'm also not a fan of conspiracy theories. I find most of them end up being detrimental towards specific groups of people that are not well represented in society to begin with. And I like to stay away from it. But I think saying birds are drones is just kind of funny. In the same way that I think they say that like Denmark doesn't exist, or Delaware doesn't exist, or Australia doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's I've heard that Australia doesn't exist. Come
Yeah.
on.
I think it's just kind of funny. And honestly, I don't know anyone who actually believes that. But yeah, I tend to try to stay away from most conspiracy theories because I even at the surface they might seem fine. When you dig down deeper and deeper, they're usually more nefarious in their reasoning behind it.
All right. So
Mhm.
another question is alien existence. What are your
Mhm.
views?
As I like mentioned before, I believe there's intelligent life. I can't imagine with an ever expanding universe that there can't be. Like that just doesn't like make sense in my little brain. Um, but that being said, I don't know if they've come to visit us. I I I don't think they would like care. And if they did care about us, I think it would be very obvious that they cared. But I've also been in contact with people who are part of a group called EC5, which is, or sorry, CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. So, I'm gonna get this wrong. The first kind is like when you see a UFO or a UAP. The second kind is when there is contact of some kind. The third kind is when they like we make contact with them as the second kind. The third, I don't know, but the fifth kind is basically we try to contact the aliens and try to get them to come talk to us. And the the person I was talking to, and maybe this is not the best person to be talking to about it, was like, yeah, they just really want us to be peaceful. And the reason they won't talk to us is because we're not loving and peaceful enough. To which I went, how what standards do the aliens have? I don't understand their morals. How am I ever going to live up to the alien morals if I don't know what it is? Cuz like I don't have the same morals as you don't have the same morals as the next person. So like
Right.
what are you talking about? I also rude of the aliens to say I don't have like good enough morals for them. And it becomes almost like pseudo religious of like you there's a certain standard before the aliens will even talk to us or sit with us. And I was like, that's cool, whatever. I don't want them to sit with me anyway.
My theory is that they fly by, they check us out and say, "Nope, still stupid," and keep going. I
Yeah. I,
I don't think we have the intelligence, to even, for them to even be bothered with yet. We're still in our infancy.
Yeah. I and that's even if they are that advanced. I think that's the other thing that I don't know if I think that anything is that advanced yet. Because if we all stop like, if we are all on the same timeline of some kind, and, like, I there's different factors. I don't know. It feels too science-y for me, to be honest. I'm just like, I just wanna tell a fun story. I
Right.
don't know what's happening. I just wanna gossip and watch The Housewives. I don't care if the
Oh,
aliens know it.
jeez. Well, see, I look at it this way. If they
Mm,
have the intelligence to, have inner space travel,
yeah.
that they're smarter than us.
They're smarter than us or they're trying to colonize us.
So
So, yeah.
that, or maybe, the theory is we were seated here by them and they're trying to see how our progression is going.
That
I
I have to roll my eyes at that one only a
it's
little bit. I just because I had the same person was telling me that like, oh, this child's a star seed, and they were saying because their eyes were a gray color, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that most babies have gray colored eyes. They babies when they develop their eye
it
color becomes more
changes.
pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's it. So I do that too, and also like I don't like getting into the ancient alien theory because, as I said before, it goes against a group of marginalized people and suggests that humans from these different portions of places that tend to have people who are more marginalized could never develop anything. And I think that's rude.
Okay, Mr. Prism says, oh, not the CE5, not the 7 Greer scam. If you ever do stuff about UFOs, you'll have to look up all the personalities behind his stuff.
I know. He
Heads up.
quoting the best commercial. He sounds hideous. Or she sounds hideous. So, I don't. That's a State Farm commercial. So, everyone.
I would say, yeah, that's the first I've heard of this group, but
Yeah.
see, her
No.
work visa ended and she had to go back. Oh, her work visa ended and she had to go back. Oh, Jesus. So yeah,
But
I just think that we're not advanced enough for contact.
which I think is also fair. Like, once again, with the same moral standards, like, why would they need our planet, or why would they even need to like visit our planet unless they're looking for resources? And then that gets into the whole me saying, well, how could they have the same morals as us, or different morals? And also, I can't possibly know what their reasoning would be for even visiting us if they had one. So I'm speaking out both sides of my mouth, and I understand that.
So, well, it's also hard. You haven't had an experience like that, so you don't. How do you answer that question? And
Yeah.
it's all up in the air because there's been a lot of people. I myself have seen things.
I mean, like, I also I'm not saying that people don't have experiences. Like, clearly they do. I'm also open to the idea that they were misinterpreted, in the same way that I'm also coming from the place where we had those drone sightings at the beginning of the last year, and everyone's like, I saw the drones, and a lot of them were personalized drones. And even I had said, hey, I think I saw one, to like one of my uncles, and my uncle was like, it was actually probably this. And I do try to remind myself when I'm like talking to people about that feeling I had where I told my uncle I thought I saw something, and him going, actually, it was probably this. I had that immediate gut reaction to be like, no, I know what I saw. And I'm like, that's not how this works. We're always open to new information. We need to take a seat back and like check our cognitive dissonance about this, and not feel the need
to freak out.
have fisticuffs with your 70-year-old uncle.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
it's not something you're gonna win. So
yeah, so I think I also, like, when I'm telling these stories, I try to be open-minded that people don't always believe in the same things that I do, and to keep an open mind. And if I would like to convince them, that I need to be conscious of where they're coming from and meet them where they're at. So that's why I do try to take a very informative approach with my stories that I tell. And then, like, just try to guide people. And especially I did that video about like debunkers and skeptics are not your enemy. I did try to be very mindful of the fact that, like, I don't want to call people or make people feel stupid or like they need to defend their beliefs. And I did say, like, you can have a belief and your belief can be justified, but it's not proven. That's what a fact is. It is proven through evidence. A belief is something that you can justify, but it doesn't necessarily make it true.
right.
And like, you can have factual reasons to justify your belief, but that doesn't mean everything is a fact. But trying to talk to people and keep that in mind, and guide them and say that, like, skeptics understand that, like, you're coming from a place where you have these heavenly held beliefs, and they're not trying to call you dumb, and they're not trying to like rip the scenario out from under you. They just believe that giving you these options to learn about these things will better help you understand where they're coming from as well.
Well said. Well said. Any other questions, guys? Let's get some questions out there. Let's keep it rolling. As far as what you've done so far, what have you actually investigated something, looked up a story, done the research, and found anything that's actually shocked you?
going with what I've done already, not what's coming out. Because I will say the donkey lady was one that shocked me a bit and made me go, oh, I need to really look at this. Do. I would say once again the blue ladies. So we often hear about tropes within ghost storytelling. One of the most common ones is the lady in white. So there are multiple ladies in whites, and they usually follow the same story beats of a woman who is virginal and then was wronged in some way, usually before a wedding day, prior to losing that virginity, and now has come back and is a sad, depressed spirit. Where
Mhm.
then you also have, on the other hand, a lady in red story trope, which tends to be follow that same story beat, except they're angry about the outcome of what has happened. And so I assumed the blue lady story would go something like that. And then I looked up, I found, so I just looked up the blue lady, and I got 3 different locations with a blue lady story. And I went, cool, it's a trope. It's not even like it's not like the brown lady who is a singular story. It is multiple stories. And I saw that there was Moss Beach Distillery, the Rockefellers in Salem, Massachusetts, and the lighthouse in Hilton Head, Carolina, North Carolina, I think. And I was like, these don't feel like they have anything in common. Like they're all very different stories. And then as I mentioned, I figured out they're all in these tourist destinations. And they all actually minus the one in Hilton Head, all had drinks associated with them at
Right.
bars. And I went, oh, okay. And actually, Moss Beach Distillery is that one that Taps went to and found that there were speakers in those ceilings.
Oh, yes, yes, that's right. Yeah.
And that's watching that episode made me go, are they all like this? Are they all doing this? And then, yeah, Rockefellers is in there. And somehow it has this very distinguished history amongst all the witchcraft history that's happening. It has very little to do with the Salem witch trials. And it feels like a marketing tactic because there's not that much information about it. Like there's not like solid information. It's a lot of hearsay. And then going in and looking up that like towns will do like walking tours, and a lot of them will be like, hey, you know that building that's abandoned? Why don't we just add to the walking tour? We'll make up some history, and like who's gonna fact check us? And so like
Joe Vitale.
Joe and Kenny, but like, you know, you're gonna get your $20 out of the tour and then be like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
call me wrong, I don't know. Like
No, you're right, because they do that. They'll just
yeah,
make up some kind of a story because
yeah.
they don't expect people to actually do the research.
And like I'll admit it, I don't do the research. But I also said in that video that I go on these because I find them entertaining.
Right.
So like I want you to be a conscious consumer because, you know, looking at YouTube or going on these tours, you are a consumer. I want you to be a conscious consumer. And if your $20 is worth an hour and maybe a half mile walk and you get to hear some fun stories that may or may not be true, spend it. But if you're like, no, I can't be lied to, the truth is very essential to me, I would suggest not going on these walking tours.
Right. Yeah, because
So yeah.
most of them, yeah, it's just mostly made up stories
Yeah.
just to bring in the population. Let's see. Sage says, on the aliens, I just think we are not that interesting. How many times have you stopped to look at moss when you go for a walk in the woods?
Mhm.
True. But no, I see. No, I look
And
at that stuff. I'm weird.
and and I know Justin just had that gentleman on, I forget his name, to talk about it. And they were talking about zoo theory, and that's kind of that too, where they just like tap the glass every once in a while and they're like, okay, bye. And I'm like, okay. Which I guess, like, if that's how they're going to interact with us, then fine. You can keep interacting with me that way. It doesn't affect my daily life.
Right. It's but it is interesting what people believe in, and then
Mhm.
New Orleans is loaded with that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
I just love it. Whether any of it is true, I don't know. I haven't researched a lot of it,
Mhm.
but there's some damn good stories.
Yeah. The the thing you do need to be careful with New Orleans, not saying like it in general, but just like the stories around it is like what we've mentioned before about like the genderfying of stories. So like I can't tell you how many times I've watched a show and it's a white person telling me about voodoo and like not really going necessarily into the history of voodoo and the fact that like
Right.
people also they'll say voodoo and hoodoo like they think they're just rhyming words when those are
It's two
religious
different
practices
things.
and
Yeah.
they're religious practices.
Yeah.
I know like
Yeah, so there like some heavy set white woman that's supposed to be some kind of voodoo queen or something.
they're
She's on a
always
tour and she plays the part 100%.
yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's all right.
And like mind you, I will say I forget which one is which. I will say that, but like some of them specifically came from the practices of African rituals from different tribes because Africa is a continent, not a country, from different tribes and them trying to hide their practices and then also meshing them with Christianity. So like it's in the same way that like many cultures who have been oppressed have taken their things and just masked them in what is popular and accepted. And commercializing that and using that in a way is like not fair to that religious practice and that religious history, especially when there's oppression involved in it.
So yeah, exactly. Let's see. All right, this one I don't get. Abby saying, "How many breaths have you taken today between telling us what you believe?" Well, I don't understand. I'm lost on that one. Elaborate, Miss Abby.
Are you saying that I talk a lot and I talk fast and I don't breathe? I'm from Jersey, or can you hear my breathing in the mic? I'm sorry. I really
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm confused on that one, but that's okay. Fact Sage. Let's see. The white person, are you not?
No, I'm very Caucasian, but I'm also not saying that I can explain to you the practice of voodoo or hoodoo. It's not my practice to claim, and I don't claim it. I'm more just explaining that I'm also aware of who is telling me about it and that maybe they should not be the ones telling me about it. Maybe there is a better authority to do so.
Right. Well, the reason we mention that is because it's not a usual practice for a white person to be a part of.
Not
Unless you were born and raised in that area, then
yeah.
okay, I could understand that. But the majority, I mean, it's way back. I mean, those traditions are way back. And it was basically more black people that were practicing these religions because it comes from Africa. So it's not usually a general norm for white people to practice voodoo or hoodoo. So, I mean, it's pretty much what we were just, pointing out that when you go on these tours, it's like, okay, it's kind of strange that you've got, this white woman telling us about this religious belief and the practices, and it's not something you would expect.
Mhm.
I mean, we're not trying to pull like a racist thing here or, white, black. It's just not something typical is what we're saying.
Yeah. If you think I talk too much, that is a fine belief to have. I would argue this is a podcast and we don't want dead air on the podcast. You're always welcome to come back to the next episode where maybe there'll be less talking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's the thing. And like I said, and the history there is phenomenal.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, you'd want to get somebody who's actually not for nothing. You'd want an old timer.
Mhm.
One of them old timers that are sitting on the porch, just, puffing away on that pipe. That's the person you go talk to.
Yeah. And as I said, like voodoo has been genderfied in that talking. And a lot of history that we get taught is genderfied. There's the idea that like history is taught by the victor. So, just keeping in mind those different narratives.
It's okay, Steph, lurk away. No. We get it. We get it, Abby. Don't worry about it. We were just trying to clarify, so everybody knew that, okay, well, now they're, we're picking sides here or trying to make up our own narrative. No, I think it's best that you find somebody who's just old and, actually knows, the rooted history between that stuff.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of people that don't know the difference. They don't know that there's two different things going on there.
Yeah. And so as I mentioned, like I do like a witchy dance class and I don't claim to be a witch. I would say that I'm maybe witch adjacent is like the best term for it. But there are practices within witch like craft that have been taken from other cultures that are supposed to be closed practices but have now become popularized, such as like
Right.
smudging, and some don't even want to sage at all. There's different questions about the ethics of commercialized sage farming. But like some people say you shouldn't do it because that's a closed practice. So there's open practices and there's closed practices. And just being aware, I think, of the history of these practices are important. The same I would say for Christianity, Judaism, Islam practices. You should try to learn the history of and why you're
Right.
doing them. And
Right.
why I did the New Year's Eve thing about why do we kiss at midnight? Like I want to know why we're doing these things.
Well, actually, I never even thought about. See, these are things I never even thought about looking up. You're like, you just do it.
Yeah.
So you're like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I found out a lot more since I've been putting out the magazine for the community, and the stuff I look up and I go, oh shit, I didn't know that. So it's, if you don't have a reason to look it up, you're just not going to. You're just going to go with what everybody else is doing.
Mhm.
So like, we've all grown up. Oh, they kiss at midnight. Okay, and you don't hear people saying, well, why do we do that?
Yeah.
'Cause
And as I said, like you grow up and you might ask somebody why they do that, and the adults in the room are like, oh, I don't know, and they make
who
up an
knows?
answer.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, they make up an answer, and then like that's how we get these other stories. And I also find it interesting if someone's like, I always heard we did it for this reason, and we're like look into it, and you're like, well, does that make sense, or like did your family just say that?
You just do it because the guy in the corner was really hot and you couldn't wait to get your lips on him. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Pretty much, Laura. It's like knocking on wood. I know, knock on wood. Why?
Mhm.
Who brought that up? Who made that up? Why the hell do we do it?
So I've heard, and mind you, I haven't looked up into it, and this is like those things of like I heard, and I don't have a backing, that it's a Nordic tradition because they would knock on wood and then say like a prayer to speak to a god. So
So
it's like
there
a
you
good
go.
luck thing. But also that could also not be true. I could have
Yeah,
just heard that. It could have been
yeah.
propaganda.
I said like James's mistletoe. Yeah, I did look up the thing with mistletoe. Yeah, I did that one time.
Yes.
And so yeah, that's old world stuff.
Yeah. Mistletoe was also used in the uh it was like the only thing that one Norse god was allergic to, and then it brought on Ragnarok as well. And that's part of that tradition. I forget what the guy was called, but he's a giant guy. And then Loki accidentally offed him, and it ensued Ragnarok. So
Right. I do remember some of that. I don't remember
yeah.
all of it. It's terrible. I have
Yeah.
fibro fog, so I don't retain a lot of stuff anymore.
I just don't got room in my brain.
So nah, I used to remember everything. Now it's just terrible. It gets worse the older I get.
Yeah.
Throwing salt over your shoulder if you spill some. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, don't do that. You're making a mess. That's what I said. Because then I got to sweep all the floors. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's see. Mr. Prism says knocking on wood has to do with the wood spirits listening, and the knocking is supposed to scare them.
Yeah. And
Wow.
there's also the idea too, like Mr. Prism could be right and I also could be right. It could just be different cultures doing different things as well. So like you may see one thing in one place and either it gets adopted by that other place because it was brought over and then it's interpreted for their use, or who's to say that two cultures weren't both knocking on wood for different reasons.
Right. I've never tried to be or been rude. Oh no, but you're not. You've been rude. Wonderful. Hi, Candy. How's it going? Hey, Goth Gal. Goth Gal has something she wants to say. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pick, but Joan, are you saying genderfied differences meaning? So I'm a little confused.
When something is taken over by the majority group and changed into theirs. If I am mispronouncing that word, I'm very sorry, and I'm actually not sure which I'm meaning. Gentrified, I think I'm trying to say. Fun fact, as part of dyslexia, is mispronouncing words as well.
Yeah.
So I could be fully mispronouncing that word, but it's when a group comes and takes over another cultures to make it the majority culture.
Which, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
So
you see it a lot in like the cities too.
Oh, yes, definitely. where they adopt something, and they make it their own.
Mhm.
That's been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah.
If you really, you do research on a lot of old things, and then you see how it changes as time progresses. So
Yeah.
it's just a common practice.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Mr. Prism. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what we say about knocking on wood here. I know, and I do it all the time. Something goes, oh God, this is heavy. Oh, knock on wood. So everybody says it, and then
Mhm.
it's common stuff that we all say things, but then we never think to look up the history.
Mhm.
I have that conversation a lot with my husband. Like, we'll say something. Well, why do people say that, or why do we do that? And I go, I never even thought about looking it up.
Yeah. We what was like also especially things my grandparents said and me not realizing that like is that a grandparent thing? Like is it just them and having their own little thing or like is it a common thing? So we used to do if a ladybug landed on you, ladybug fly away home, your house is on fire and your children are alone. And like you'd blow on it to make it go away and then you could make a wish. And I was for the longest time not sure if that was a fever dream that my grandparents came up with. And then I found a book that actually like talked about it. And I think it's based on a historical account of a mother like losing her children in a fire. I'm like, but then why are we saying
Oh my
it
God, yes,
to
that's the
these
first time I ever heard
ladybugs?
that one.
Yeah.
Never heard that
Um,
one.
yeah. And then the other one that like I saw later in like those scary stories to tell in the dark was whenever you see a hearse go by, you think someday you're gonna die. The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out in your belly and out your mouth. Was like another one she used to say to us.
Never heard that one either. Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is why I'm into spooky stuff. My very Catholic grandmother just used to say bizarre phrases to us like this.
And you're thinking like, what, Grandma? What the heck is that? Yeah, let's see. Julie says ancient Celts. I scrolled up on me. Sorry, Celts or Germanic tribes who believe spirits lived inside trees. Knocking was a way to rouse these spirits for protection or to prevent evil entities from overhearing or ruining one's luck.
Mhm.
See, that's it's amazing what we're finding out for just one saying.
Yeah. And I know Sage Rat was saying like rule of thumb comes from this. There's that I know one that like I've talked about before and that I personally do like superstition wise is I don't say like a toast or cheers with water. And I know that's a dramatic, like a Germanic, sorry, not a dramatic, that's not a word, Germanic one of
We
like,
gotcha.
yeah, if you cheers, like it's bad luck because it's like suggests that you want everyone at the table with you to die. So there's a lot of death, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, it was all pretty, scary. And I think
Yeah.
it was done on purpose to actually to keep people in control.
Yeah.
Let's see, sage rule of thumb was a law in the 17th century that you can't beat your wife and kids with a rod bigger than your thumb. Lots of lost meaning and phrases.
Yeah. But it's also like the idea, and like sometimes too, what I also find interesting is like you think that will be the history, and then if you look it up, they're like, that's actually not the history about it. It's about this thing. And you're like, that's crazy. I thought it was this thing. And like there's other propaganda that's put out about these like stories and phrases that like morph the actual story from like what it was originally.
Right, exactly. Like Abby just says, it, like ring around the rosy.
Yeah.
We all thought that was just a pleasant little fun kid game. No, not from the history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with that one, I also didn't realize that like the UK says it different than the Americans.
Oh, do
Ring around
they?
Yeah, they have a different way of saying it. It's like in America, I grew up with ring around the rosy, pockets full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Correct.
Which once again, creepy grandma was said, you're not supposed to say we all fall down. Once you all lay down, you're supposed to scream dead. So we all fall down dead.
Oh,
She's,
yeah, no, I never heard
she's
that part.
but I don't know how they say it, but they say it slightly differently. But I also found it so interesting. Oh, they go like a tissue, a tissue. I think is it like ring around the rosy, pockets full of posy, a tissue, a tissue. We all fall down.
And that's
Um,
the UK version.
yeah, and I find it so interesting that Americans who didn't experience the plague decide to change the words to it.
Yeah, there. Wayne says, yeah, it was written about the Black Plague.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and like what the perfumes they would put in to keep
Oop.
the smells away.
And that's, that's weird how it was turned into a child's game. It was,
Mhm.
and I hear Rob says, never look at the backside of a mirror as one. I've never heard that one either.
I've never heard that one. I have heard when someone dies in the house, you're supposed to cover mirrors, depending on like what you believe in. I know some Irish traditions believe that you open the west window to let the spirit out and not the east, because like spirits like basically do an over once a night, and they come from the east and go to the west.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you,
There's so many. Yeah. There's
yeah,
rules for that.
if you open the east one, it's not right.
Let's see. This is what Abby says.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying tissue, but I could be. I'm clearly
Ash
not
2.
British.
Yeah. No, wow. I don't know. Yeah. The
Yes.
Black Death. Yep. So see, it's funny how things are said in the different parts of the world, and it's all stems from the same background, but people change. See, that's it right there. People
Yeah.
change it.
And like, was it a mishearing and then people changed it? Or like, did it just like, oh, we don't like that, so we're going to change it to this? We also have very puritanical bringing up in the US in the way that like we came over as pilgrims. Was there something about that that the pilgrims thought was the devil? So they changed
Right.
it for
Yeah.
us? Like, yeah, it's
Too scary, so we wanted to change it up, and
yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Candy says, yeah, I've heard the covering of the mirrors in the room, the person passed, and also stopping the clock. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the stopping of the clock was pretty much just to let the doctor and all them come in and say so they could record the time of death.
Yeah.
Um,
And the idea of like putting 2 pennies in the eye was for the ferryman, but there's the practical reason was because no one wants to see the dead person's eyes open. So they
right.
used it to keep the lids weighted down.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So let's see. I've heard traditions that you shouldn't have your bed east-west with your feet to the west.
Yeah. Once again, it depends on like what culture you're looking at, but I've also heard that it's something about like wishing death upon yourself and things like that. But there's also cultures that contradict each other. I always like to bring up that like the Japanese, their spooky time is in the summer. They think that's when all the ghosties come out, or when you should do like Halloween like things. They celebrate Halloween there, but it's very much like a costume contest. But they believe they have their spooky things, and their whole reasoning is, well, you want to get scared in the summer because it sends a shiver up your spine. So like you get to get cooled down.
Okay, yeah.
And they also have a phrase there that's called like when you go to do what we would call like a test of bravery or something like that. They call it like a test of your liver, because they believe that like your bravery is like held in the liver. So they're like, go test your liver and things like that.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Good night, Cynthia. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. Yeah, Julie says the plague interpretation is widely disputed by folklorists because the earliest recorded version of the rhyme dates back to the 19th century.
Julie, do you know if that's in Scotland or anything like that? Because once, what I learned from like Old Lang Syne as well is that technically that's not the words to the original poem. Francis Scott Key, no, that's the American one. Jesus, the Scottish poet Robert something, I can't think of his name right now, had to change the words up a little bit in order to be able to get it like published and certified in like the Library of Congress or something.
I do
like
remember
that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do remember hearing about something about that.
So that might also be why the words are changed, is in order to get it submitted into like a finalized publication of something.
Right. So even back then they had copyright issues.
Mhm.
We weren't the only ones.
Yeah.
Jeez. A Frost.
Not Robert Frost. That's also that's Vermont. That's on a snowy day.
Good shot, Jimmy. But yeah, it is very interesting, and all of this stuff is interesting, and that's why I wanted to have Joan on, because you really don't, if you're not interested in digging into stuff like that, unless you have to, you really doesn't really come to mind on most people. Like like I said, knock on wood, who think about it.
Mhm.
Now that I'm older, I'm finding myself, thinking, well, gee, why do we say that? Or why does that happen? Or
Mhm.
so now I am getting more curious about those things that we've said or done our whole entire lives.
Mhm.
The forest is lovely, dark, and deep. Robert
Yes.
Burns, aka Raby Burns. Let's see if I remember rightly. Google doesn't know who wrote the original words to Old Lang
It
Syne.
is an old Scott poem. So the words are not exactly how we would interpret them. And then yeah, Robert Burns like made them more English and not Scott, and then was able to publish them in the library of like how we have like the Library of Congress.
Right.
I was thinking about this today too, and I would be interested maybe to pick your brain, maybe to pick other people's brains. Would it be better to go on an investigation of a place and have absolutely no history of it at all and then look up the history later so you don't have confirmation bias?
It depends on who you're talking to.
Hmm.
Now, me, I would like to know the history of and not just the house history,
Mhm.
of the land and the house that is on it. I don't want to know any haunted history
Mhm.
because then I think it will corrupt the investigation for me
Mhm.
because then you're going to be expecting what you've been told.
Mhm.
So, but I want to know like when the house was built, how many families lived there, what they did for a living,
Mhm.
what happened on the grounds before the home was built. Could have been like a war that happened at that time period before the house was built. Stuff like that. So this way,
Mhm.
I have a general idea of what I'm walking into.
Mhm.
But again, I don't want to know the haunted history.
I, I do have to wonder if there are some practical reasons for hauntings based on lead paint. And also, what was it, arsenic in the walls, like in the
Yes,
green
in the
wallpaper?
wallpapers. Yes, yes, I do believe that does have an effect on
Mhm.
how people feel.
I know lead has had an emotional effect. It's something like violent crimes have gone down significantly since we took lead out of our gasoline in the
Right,
states. So I thought that came to mind. I'm like, huh, I wonder because like when we bought this house, so that we could get the paint tested, see if there's lead in it or not. So
right.
yeah.
Well, see, I went through. Well, we went through similar. So my house is over 100 years old, so
Mm,
there's a lot
mhm.
of history behind my house.
Yeah.
But as far as knowing any haunted, because I have stuff that happens here all the time. Actually, I just had to do a cleansing on my house the other night. My dog wouldn't come back in the house.
Oh, okay.
Her ears were down, her tail was down. She cowered, would refuse to come back in the house. And I'm thinking,
Interesting.
oh, okay, what the hell? And this was happening for like 2 days. I said, so, yep, I got the sage out and, I did blessings in all the rooms and she's fine now. And it's like, I've had other things happen here as well, but usually it never really bothered her that much. She would
Mhm.
bark into the living room at night at a certain time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, they're in the living room. Let's just go
Yeah.
back to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other day she refused. She stayed down in the back hall, would not come up.
I'm so happy for you that your idea is that it is a spirit. My best hope would be it's a spirit because I would be absolutely convinced someone's in my walls again.
Yeah, no, not here. Well, they won't fit. We just had our house insulated, so ain't nobody
Oh,
fitting in
good.
there. They're
Sometimes
not
I
fitting in there. So it's yeah. But no, I've had
yeah.
things. A long history has been here that through the years things have happened. We
Yeah.
know it goes on, but
Yeah.
it's nothing that's destructive or evil. It's
Mhm.
just here,
Yeah.
and we just live with it. Again, I don't feel that I should investigate my own home because it might stir up something I don't want. So
Okay.
that's why I leave it as is. Because usually, if you do that, it stirs things up, it wakes things up, and then you have more things happening. Where
Okay.
I have pretty much just left it as is. We know you're
Mhm.
here. We're sharing the home, and have at it.
That's the other thing about ghosts, though. They're not paying mortgages, and I
Yeah.
really feel like they need to be if they're just gonna, like, hang out here.
That's what's. Well, I look at it this way: they were here before us, so
Yeah,
they
sure,
paid
but
their share. I don't know what the history is of whatever it is
mhm.
or whoever it is. All I know is what I've seen and experienced here in my own home.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, normally, the dog is good, but she just would not. I'm thinking, oh, and my husband goes, yeah, she's been acting like that all day, and I don't get it. And I said, okay, so let me do a cleansing. And right after I did it, she come right up in the house and that was it.
Yeah.
She's been fine. So it worked, whatever was going on.
Good for you. Yeah. We have 2 dogs, and that's also how I know no one's living in the walls because our one we got her in May, but she's 14 years old, so we got a senior dog. And she just barks at everybody new. So I'm like, if someone was living in here, we would know by now. My other one, I can't trust so much. This one, I'm like, she would tell me. She's got my back.
Well, usually the dog was, like I said, because she has one of her beds is in the living room.
Mhm.
And everybody that I've had that spent the night here would sleep on the couch. It happens every time.
Mhm.
3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd hear the next day, who the hell is in your attic at 3 o'clock in the morning? And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Well, somebody's walking around up there. Don't worry about it. You're good. It's not what you think. Don't worry about it. And that's what you hear. Everybody hears the same thing. Somebody walking around in the attic at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's when the dog comes running out of the living room, stands in the kitchen doorway, and barks towards the living room. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think you need to sign a roommate agreement with this ghost. That sounds very rude. Maybe make them an offering of some kind and then be like, and also here's the agreement, their required hours now.
Right. Well, I
Like,
just say, okay, knock it off, go to bed. That's what I say to the dog.
you can do this at 3 p.m. and
Right.
not 3 a.m. Maybe we got our schedules a little flipped. That's
Right. No,
okay.
I
Sounds
don't
good
want to
on
be up
our
at 3, even though I am up at that time. But yeah, it's every
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And it just is what it is. Yeah, Julia, because I do believe that if you open that can of worms, you better be prepared for what might follow after.
Yeah.
So it just, we just coexist and let's just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
As I said, I have a tarot practice and I do tell people don't ask questions you don't want answers to. So I fully
Exactly.
support you not looking into
Exactly. Well, see,
it.
I do the same thing. I do tarot readings, but I always tell everybody,
Mhm.
listen, it's entertainment. Do
Mhm.
not take it as,
Oh, yeah.
100% fact. Don't base your life's decisions on it.
Oh god, no. I tell people that it's cardstock. It can't hurt you. It has no meaning.
Right.
I don't know about your tarot practice, but in
It's
my tarot
fun.
yeah. But in like my tarot practice, I tell people that like the cards are literally designed to like speak to you. The question is if you ask like the thing is if you ask it a question and you feel like, "Huh, maybe I could be more patient." That's what the cards are for. It's
Yeah.
for a reflection tool. It is not it can't tell the future. It's cardstock, guys.
Right. Well, that's why I always stress it's entertainment only.
Yeah.
And so but and because a lot of people are superstitious and they fall into that, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, because I have a friend that, and I had to talk her down. No, because even last time I talked to her just the other day, oh, you need to do a reading. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. I did have part of the witchy classes I go to has like a tarot class once a month. And I was talking to a girl and she was like, "Yeah, I did a reading about this guy." And I said, "Okay." And then she's like, "I pulled the devil card." And I was like, "And then you pulled a card after?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why would you?" Stop pulling the cards after. And then it was funny because I was telling my friend about it, who's also in the class, and she goes, "She didn't tell you, but the first card she pulled was the tower."
So,
And I was like, she should have stopped then. Stop pulling cards.
end of story. End of story.
At
Well,
the end,
yeah.
yeah, at the end of class, after she'd pulled like 13 cards, she's like, "Look, I got lovers." And I was like,
Well, obviously, I mean, you're going to run out of the cards. You keep
"Well,
pulling cards.
there's only so many." And I was like, "Well, maybe you have to go through the other trials and tribulations before you can get to the lovers." And it sounds like the devil comes first. So, and just for those uninitiated, tarot can be interpreted in many different ways. Personally, the way that I would interpret the devil is a connection to someone that is unhealthy. It is usually associated with addiction of some kind.
Yeah.
Where like the lovers, if you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, are mirrors of each other. They look exactly the same, except the lovers is a healthy connection with somebody.
Right.
So if you get the devil in a relationship reading, I would say maybe you should think about your connection with that person. And you know what? If it doesn't serve you, if you don't believe it, then that's something else. But
Right. Right. Well, that's why, yeah, you always just stress it's entertainment. It's good fun.
yeah,
Everybody has a good time.
yeah.
So, any other questions, guys, before we let Joan on her way? It's getting late, and we know we don't like to keep people up too late. Tell us where we can find you, Miss Joan.
You can find me on YouTube at Ladies Fright, like Ladies Night, but Fright at the end of it. And I'm on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Facebook. If you want to do any of that, you can go over to my channel. You do have to hit the sub button before you can see anything. It's so weird. I don't know what it is. It's a bug. I'll talk to YouTube. But yeah, you have to hit the sub button, and then you can find my link tree, which has all my socials linked right there. If you want every other Tuesday night right now, I go live. I like to focus on, because other people are doing ghost hunting and stuff like that, and some are doing it just for entertainment and not for real purposes. But outside of that, I've been focusing on spooky media that's made on the internet that is made specifically for spooky purposes and for entertainment. So we've been looking at that. Just for example, during Christmas time, I found a TikTok mystery about a pickle in a Christmas tree, and we solved that mystery together over on the live stream.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And then
The
yeah,
Christmas pickle.
Christmas pickle. And then I also post every other week just a episode. So yeah, you can primarily find me on there. If you just want audio only, I am on all podcasting platforms. You just need to look up Ladies Fright.
Fantastic. And you are so welcome, Sage. I told you I share because it means I care.
Yeah.
Enjoy the snow.
Yeah.
Thanks to my Maz for putting up her link so everybody can find out where she is.
Thanks,
And
guys.
please remember to subscribe and comment on her videos. Enjoy the videos. You're going to learn a lot that you thought you might have known and you didn't. That's the beauty of it. I see her. I see you going far with what you're doing.
Thanks. I
It's
appreciate
different,
that.
and I really a German pickle in the Christmas tree. Yep, Julie. I think that's so funny. And also, guys, don't forget to hit the like here. Subscribe as well. We are going to kick Julie in a back just for a second, so I could say goodbye to everybody.
Mhm.
And well, I'll see you in a minute, Joan. I'll see you in a minute. Why did I say Julie? Oh my God,
It's-
that's because
it's-
I'm
I
looking
was-
at Julie
Yeah.
at the in the chat.
J name. Don't worry. I answered to it. I said, yep.
Yep. All right. We'll see you in a second. Hold
See
on,
you then.
Joan. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope you had a good time. Yes. It was great having her on. And please show her some love and support. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Like I said, please hit the like, comment. You know how it works, the bells and whistles. Check out the new stuff in the merch shop. Thanks, Sage and Pinky, for helping me put that together. I love it. It's great. I think you guys will enjoy it. And of course, you guys will see me again on the Morning Brew. Don't forget to show up with your coffee. We'll be ready to rock and roll. And the miniature will be coming out soon. I hope to see you guys all there. But everybody have a great night. Loved you all. And remember, guys, live life a little bit on the raw side.